Hey again, I'm glad to have you back here at the Lazy Genius Tarot Bazaar. My name is Alex, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Hope that you like the content here. Today we are going to be doing a walkthrough of the Arcana Iris Sacra deck by Tina Gong. This was actually released by Labyrinthos. Their website is labyrinthos.co. And this is a pretty cool deck here. It is a 78 card tarot deck and fold out. The cards have a matte card stock with a gold foiled back and gold gilded edges. And there is also an app that goes along with the deck as well. The app is actually pretty in depth, I would say. They've got a bunch of their different decks that are on there. For instance, I have also their Lenormand deck from this same setup here. It uses the same app. Here's the Lenormand. Uses the same app. And the cards are super dope. I tried to tie the box, but then noticed that the paper here started coming loose from the box itself, and I don't want to actually damage the box, so I have put this up in storage, and I now keep it in this bag here. There's also a cloth. The cloth I also got from Labyrinthos. It is the silk spread cloth that goes with the deck. So you'll see here the bag colors, including the tie there, sort of match the colors of the cloth here really well. Now this is a very big cloth. I think it is like 24 by 24 inches. Possibly a little bit bigger than that, but it is a silk cloth. Now, let me move the cards out of the way for a second. One thing that I did want to try to show you guys is the images on the cloth itself. So here, I don't know if that's in frame, but here we have the image that we're going to see on the Two of Pentacles, which is the snake, and then around the outside of the cloth you will see there are the moon phases, the astrological symbols, pretty much everything that you could think of, all wrapped up into a single cloth here. Now, another thing with this one is you'll notice that there's also constellations here. So not only do you get like your astrological symbols and your moon phases that kind of go around the whole cloth in a circle, but you're also getting actual constellations out here on the outer edges. And it's like that on all of the corners. So that is the cloth there that came not necessarily with the deck. I did have to buy it separately, but it definitely goes with the deck aesthetically very nicely. And then these cards are actually not in order. I did not get a chance to reorder this deck. Give me just 1 second and I will get that done. Alright, now that we've got them reordered and everything is back in its place, here are the card backs. So you see the gold gilding there. I think that's a pretty good view of it. in this real interesting, almost camo-like paint splatter sort of design. And it does not come with the little white book, but it does come with the fold out here that does go over all of the card meanings and such. It is very much so a Thoth-based deck. And let's go ahead and get this out of the way. The gold gilding on the edges here has been standing up fairly well. I've been using it quite a bit. I do riffle shuffle. The cards have never stuck ever, so they do flow pretty nicely. They don't really clump at all. They ruffle shuffle like a dream. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards, shall we? Let me zoom in. All right, there we go. So the majors are borderless, but the minors are all bordered. Here we have the Fool. You'll notice around the Fool that there are the 12 astrological symbols for each of the different signs. You've got the tiger and alligator. The Fool actually has horns. More detail, there is a stone, almost like a diamond at the top there, above a dove or some other sort of bird that looks to be diving down the top of the picture there. Here we have the Magus, where we have the swords, wands, cups, and discs. Here we have the High Priestess. Here we have the Empress. See, she's got the shield, pregnant at the water's edge, with the stork flying above her head. Here we have the Emperor, with his shield on his throne. Of course, the ram's head of Aries. Here we have the Hierophant. You see the bowl on the window there, and then the rest of it is all flowers. Holding a key. Here you have the Lovers, and we've been seeing a lot of this egg here. For instance, we see that same egg on the Magus card. We see the egg again here on the Lovers card. Here we have the Chariot. Ruled by the moon, so you have the Cancer sign up here with the crab at the top, and then you have the little icons for the human, the eagle, the lion, and the bull. Each of them also have their color associations for the suit that they are tied to, and the deck, humans being tied to swords or thought, the eagle being tied to the what looks to be the water suit here by color, the lion being tied to the fire suit or wands, and the bull being tied to the earth suit or pentacles. And you'll see that they are kind of color coded in the deck here as well. Here we have Adjustment. Lots of symbology going on here in this card. Here we see the egg again over top of the hermit. See, it looks like a long journey inward. I really like the way that the cards are depicted in this deck. And the card stock is just lovely. Like I said, the gold is never clumped up or bunched in the deck. The cards are just thick enough for them to be durable, but not too thick to riffle shuffle. The matte feel on the cards is super nice. Here we have the Wheel of Fortune, where we will see 4 of the moon phases at the corners. And then one would assume that the other 4 moon phases, 2 of them would be just off the card. One of them is covered by the Sphinx holding the sword at the top. And then there goes the final one right there. And then you have the sort of strings coming down off of the wheel with the fingers all tied up, almost like the wheel is controlling what you do. And then you have like the constellations and stuff also around the edge of the card there. Really cool Wheel of Fortune card. I like the way they did that. Here's the Lust card at 11. Here is the Hanged Man. Again, we see this snake. We've seen it a few times already. We'll see it more. It's the same snake that was on the reading cloth there, just positioned differently. Here's the Death card. Probably one of my favorite Death cards out of any deck I've seen. I really like this Death card. I think it's funny. Just the way that he's standing is sort of comical. Looks like he's saying, "Yippee, here I am." It's a funny card. I like it. And then here we have the Art card, which would normally be Temperance. Here we have the Devil. Very interesting take on the Devil. You see the Saturn in the background there, and then you see the DNA strand and the skull there. So that's actually quite a bit to unpack when you get into how the symbology of all of these different things ties in together in representation of the Devil. Here we have the Tower. It's a very interesting take on the Tower. We see the snake over here again. Here is the Star. So you see the sort of star map behind her. Seems that she's holding the sun in one hand and the moon in the other. There's a big wave in the background there. Really like this Star card. Here we have the Moon. So instead of the lobster, we have the beetle. We still have the 2 dogs or 2 wolves. They look exactly identical in this one, but there is 2 of them, one on top of each of the pillars here, both howling. Then you have the scarab beetle rather than the lobster, coming up from the waters there. Looks like a split in the Red Sea almost, due to the red water and the fact that it is seemingly split down the center. So there could be a play on like Christian Kabbalism there, or Christian mysticism. Here we have the Sun card with the 12 astrological symbols going around. Here we have Aeon, the Aeon. Again, we see this egg here. And here's the Universe card. Again, you see the human, eagle, lion, and bull. Again, we see the snake here. We actually see the same sort of rainbow colors that we saw on the reading cloth. And again, the same snake from the reading cloth as well. So a lot of the same symbology gets used throughout the deck, much like those eggs there that we were seeing. Like this one here on the Aeon card. And now we are into the minors. Again, this is a Thoth-based deck, so it is going to be a pip deck. Here we start with the Ace of Wands. Here we have the Two of Wands. Again, we see the image of that snake there. Here we see the Three of Wands, where we have the three wands laid over each other in the shape of a star. Here we have the Four of Wands. Only now we have the opportunity for reversals here, because we have the ram's head upside down. So if it pops up in a reversal, then there is some sort of a meaning behind that. Here we have the Five of Wands. So you see the snake again, the lion's head, and the eagle's wings behind it there. I imagine all of that plays some sort of factor into the symbology of the card there. And then, as you'll notice, there are these seemingly planetary and astrological signs as you work your way through each of the minors there. Probably just telling you what planetary and astrological association each card has. And then moving on from there, oops, sorry about that. Moving on from there, we've got the Six of Wands. Definitely like that card, that one's pretty cool. Here we have the Seven of Wands. And then each card also has a keyword at the top there. The Eight of Wands. The Nine of Wands. The Ten of Wands, which this one is actually has the 10 wands arranged in like a bar fashion on a door with a lock, and is the oppression card for the 10 of Wands. And then here we have the courts, where it goes princess, prince, queen, and knight. Here we have the Princess of Wands, or fire suit, and the princess herself is the earth related court card there. Here we have the Prince of Wands, again the fire suit, and the prince is associated to air. Here we have the Queen of Wands, associated to water. And again, these symbols are up here at the top corners for each of the court cards here as well. And then here we have the Knight of Wands, or fire of fire there. And we move into the cup suit. Here we have the Ace of Chalices, the Two of Chalices, the Three of Chalices. I really like this card here as well. the 4 of chalices, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the 10 of chalices here. I actually really like this one. And we have the quartz here. Of course, chalices are the suit of water. Again, the princess associated to earth. You have the symbols up there in the corners. The prince associated to air. We see the snake again and what looks to be the egg, but elongated and with wings. The queen, or the water of water, and the knight, who is associated to fire. Here we have the Ace of Swords. Again, we see the snake making his way back into the card. Here we have the Two of Swords, the Three of Swords, the Four of Swords. Here's the 5, the 6, the 7, 8, 9, 10, then of course swords are the suit of air. The princess associated to earth. Again, symbols up in the corners. Prince associated to air. The queen associated to water. And the knight associated to fire. Here we have the Ace of Discs. Here in the center of the main disc, you see the number 1 on top of the number 666, and you also see that egg again. Here we see the Two of Discs. This is the same image that is at the center of the reading cloth that I showed you there at the beginning, or tried to show you rather. That thing is pretty big and I can't get my phone camera to go out big enough to be able to catch the entire thing in a video shot, so I do apologize for that. Here is the Three of Discs, the 4, the 5 of Discs. Here's the 6 of Discs, the 7, and again we see the snake making his way back in. Here's the 8, here's the 9. I like this one. It's a kind of a busy card, but I really like the layout of it. I like the pip layout in this deck. All of the pips are laid out real well. Here's the 10. Obviously you see the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. Oops. And then we have the quartz here. The suit of discs being associated to the earth element, and the princess also being associated to earth. Here we have the prince. Definitely a lot of symbology in these cards. There's a lot to unpack. Prince associated to air. There's a lot to unpack in these cards here. Here's the queen associated to water. And finally, here you have the knight associated to fire. And as you can see, there's definitely a lot of symbology packed into this deck. There's a lot to unpack in these cards. It's a very well done Thoth deck. I just wanted to show you how it shuffles real quick here so that you can see. It riffle shuffles like a dream. Now that we're done actually going through the cards, let me pull my zoom out so you're not so close. But yeah, it riffle shuffles like a dream, and the gilding there just, it seems to hold up. I've never actually seen any chipping from this deck. I mean, now that I've actually set it on camera, I'll probably start to notice some, but the gilding on these cards has held up superb. I'm starting to appreciate the metallic gilding a little bit more than the matte, at least with the metallic colors. I've noticed that the super high metallic doesn't necessarily clump as much. Like when I got them in, they were clumped, yeah, and I had to kind of wiggle them loose, but after that, I've had no problems whatsoever. It riffle shuffles like a dream. It overhand shuffles pretty well. The high matte card stock kind of makes them clump a little bit when I'm riffle shuffle or when I'm overhand shuffling like that, but that is just because of the card stock. That's not actually because of the gilding. Like the gilding itself doesn't clump. So really like this deck. But that is the walkthrough of the Arcana Iris Sacra deck by Labyrinthos. The deck itself, the art and deck itself are by Tina Gong. And there you have it. Thank you for joining me again for another episode. If you are new here, thank you for making this one your first. Please hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the walkthrough. I will have walkthroughs coming every Wednesday from here on out for walkthrough Wednesdays. So look for those. And then every Tuesday, we will also be putting out a Tarot Tuesday video. So those two things are for sure. I am just working on, planning out some content here so that I have a couple of video ideas laid out so I can start filming those. And so moving forward, you will see the walkthroughs every Wednesday. And then as soon as I'm ready, we will start doing the Tarot Tuesdays as well. And then we're going to go from there. So I do appreciate you guys for coming back for another walkthrough Wednesday here. And again, like I said, hopefully I will see you next time. Thank you for coming, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I will see you next time. Thank you.